Okay, you know what? I think I just hit the wrong opening video.
I was like,
I
what's
told you
going on?
when they mix my stuff up, man, they messed up everything. But now I'm just so we gonna go back into the Planet Velvet opener again. We're gonna just jump right back into it. This is live right now, so everybody see what's happening. This is
Hey man,
live
this
television.
this is what we do. This
This is
you
what
know
we do.
stuff
Pro-
happens.
That's right. Progress is a process, so y'all just gonna have to roll with us on this, all right? And anybody that's watching right now, please make sure to make use of the um the live chat. We want to hear what you guys got to say. But anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. Right now, we're gonna try to open the show, all right?
All right, let's start this thing over.
Yeah. Everybody back to one. What's up, everybody? Sunday afternoon. We trying to get it, make it happen. Welcome to the Planet Velvet Pro Wrestling Podcast. I am Anthony Velvet Hall. And as always, I have the best co-host anybody could ever ask for. But I don't think me just saying his name is going to be the proper introduction today. I think
You
I
know
have to
what we
give
need.
him. I think I have to give him the introduction. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the modern day version of glass shattering.
Give me that. Hell yeah. You know. Give me that.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the one, the only multi-talented actor, singer, man of many talents, the one, the only
That's
Neff.
that's
Neff,
what happens. That's what happens when you miss a week. You know what I'm saying? You get boredom and stuff happens. Love it. Hell yeah.
exactly. That's exactly what happens. Now you see the end result. That's what happened with that right there. That's what we do. That's the way we do it. Oh, my man, Fella G is on the call. What's up, George? Fella G, awesome artist, man. I got to give him a shout out. When I had my wrestling shirts out, which are still available right now on prowrestlingtees.com.
Nice.
Type in prowrestlingtees.com/Velvet Jones, and you will see a shirt that this man designed. Yes, that's right. He came up with the design for this shirt. It's available right now on prowrestlingtees.com/Velvet Jones. Be sure to pick one up. Thank you very much for your patronage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. And once again, Neff, he's saying what up to you as well. See? What up, Neff?
How's it going, sir?
That's what's up,
Excellent.
man. Yo, we got a lot to talk about. We missed a week, but guess what? We gonna just jump right into it,
And we
man. First things first. AEW. Now, as you know, about 2 weeks ago, a brand new AEW World Champion was crowned when CM Punk defeated Hangman Adam Page to become the AEW champion. Um, during that match or the match the night after, he wound up getting injured. As a result of his injury, it was a lot of people were wondering exactly what was going to happen with the World Championship. Apparently, CM Punk is getting a pass as far as a world champion goes. So I don't think the 30-day rule is in effect here. Long story short, because of this, CM Punk is an injured world heavyweight champion, and now we got an amazing clusterfuck of a situation going on right now. AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament. A battle royal was held. The winner of that battle royal was Kyle O'Reilly. He was set to face John Moxley in a match. John Moxley wound up winning that match. There was a match in New Japan featuring Hiroshi Tanahashi, who was CM Punk's originally scheduled opponent at Forbidden Door.
mm-hmm.
And another guy. I forget the guy's name. I think the guy's last name was Goto. Goto, Gooto. The winner of that match is scheduled to take on John Moxley, I think, at Forbidden Door.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the winner of that match will be the interim AEW World Heavyweight Champion, and that person is scheduled to face CM Punk at a later date to determine the undisputed AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Neff, the floor is yours, brother.
I sat with this for over a week, and I've had various conversations with different people just about the whole CM Punk thing. I always loved the way that he went about it. He's always said that he wants to fight for it. He didn't want anything handed to him. My biggest problem with that was the ring rust. He was out of shape when he came back, and he was just trying too many different things. And I knew an injury was on the horizon, but right after you win the title, out of there. It is a clusterfuck of matches that they're trying to put on for this tournament, just to make it all make sense. But again, they have so many wrestlers in this league that it's like it doesn't even matter. You can figure out some kind of storyline or some way to make it work. And they're just going to temporarily hold the championship because when CM Punk comes back, it was way too much setup for CM Punk for him not to just get the title day one when he enters back into the ring. So it's a mess. It's a mess. But, hey, what we're looking at, it's maybe 6 months, 6 to 8 months for CM Punk.
Yeah, I'm not sure specifically what his injuries are, and I'm not sure, so I can't really tell you what the timeline is. But I'm pretty sure you're going to find out because Neff is looking it up right now.
I am. That's all I know.
Yeah, he's got a pretty bad injury, and it was so bad that I think he just had successful surgery because AJ Lee, his life partner or wife, I don't know what their status is, but she said that the surgery went well. And we'll talk about another surgery that went well that was definitely needed a little later on in the show. But right now we're gonna stick with AEW. So
this is a tough stretch, man.
This is a tough stretch.
It gotta be the heat. Everybody bones locking up.
Man, this is something serious. And trust me, these situations are going to be the catalyst for a couple of shoots that are going to happen on this show. Not only am I shooting on this show, but Neff is going to give you guys an uncensored shoot on the situation that definitely needs to be addressed. So, but we'll get to all that later. Neff, what have you got for me, man? As far as CM Punk's his injury.
I'm still looking. We on dial up over here. Don't mind the dial up. I should have had this information already, but we're gonna keep going.
That is professional wrestling in a nutshell, man. You never know what's gonna happen. Nobody knew. I mean, there's some things that are predictable, and there's some things that aren't predictable. Sasha Banks walking out of WWE falls somewhere in there between predictability and unpredictability. Another predictable situation that came from that happens to be the fact that WWE has totally shelved the women's tag team tournament in the near future. So that's something that's predictable. But that's just us right now. But just getting back into CM Punk and all this other stuff, man. I mean, this is going to just be a really, really hectic, heavy situation with CM Punk and the AEW World Championship.
What I got so far is that they are saying that it was a lower leg injury, that it was a broken foot, and that the bones and everything has been fully repaired.
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying they don't have a specific time, of course, of return, but it's looking like before the end of the year. And the foot is always tricky. I mean, it's kind of an easy, comeback, but yeah, it's always tricky. It's going to come down to age and how he treats it. But I believe that he's going to put 110% in the gym, and when he's able to get back, he was on a great path. He was starting to love wrestling again. You could see it in him. The crowd was definitely giving him everything he needed and everything he deserved. So that fired him up in a way that he couldn't imagine. So I can see him really, really putting his best foot forward on trying to make a speedy recovery and to get back, because he got a lot left to prove. And I said it before that he has a lot left to prove. He's in the best situation that he can ask for. We just gotta wait and see.
Yeah, that just seems to be exactly what's gonna happen with CM Punk. And and here's the crazy thing. Of course, nobody saw CM Punk getting injured. Not this soon, I guess you could say, because we have talked about him being in that advanced stage for wrestling. I think the fact that he isn't wrestling as frequently as he has been is definitely something that's that contributed to him being injured like he was. He's cut more promos than he's wrestled matches, and it's crazy, but it's the truth. Not only that, we just learned this past week that AEW has introduced a brand new championship, the All Atlantic Championship. And now that alone, I mean, I think when you add the Ring of Honor titles into the situation, that brings about a total of over 10 active championships in AEW alone. Now you've got a new championship that's being introduced. With the tournament going on, you have the status of the world championship, your major championship, currently unknown. On top of that, there are talks of trios championships probably being introduced. And so now you kind of know why these AEW titles mean nothing. Like, they don't mean squat, man. At this point, they don't mean anything because it's too much. It's too much going on right now. I can remember right after that, when the Attitude Era was going on, right after all that stuff happened when WCW ended and everything, WWE had a bunch of championships. Like WrestleMania, I think X7 had like 7 title matches. Like, that was too many titles, and all of a sudden the titles got consolidated. So it just seemed like everybody had a championship. And when you start giving away titles to everybody, eventually they don't mean anything. So now you got 2 vacant championships, a bunch of other vacant championships that have no real serious storylines, because AEW storylines are just like I said, I've said it in the past, they're more about moments than they are storylines. So their storylines suck at this point. So AEW is just, I don't know, it's bad. It's bad, and I don't see the most prosperous of endings right now for AEW going forward.
I mean, they call it All Elite Wrestling. It's really all entertainment wrestling. It's kind of even like thinking like boxing, in a sense of how boxing has so many titles and so many. Is that a donut? That's what we do here. Is that a donut?
Dude, my wife just came to me with a box of donuts and offered me one.
You can't turn donuts down. That's just, it's a law against donut.
Happy wife, happy life. Your wife offers you food, you eat the damn food. I'm eating don't and coffee.
Love it.
I got a cup of coffee, man.
Love it. You about to be up for the next 3 hours. All right. But yeah, like I was saying, all elite wrestling has fallen into the unfortunate, all entertainment wrestling. And they're gonna have a lot of belts. It's a lot of wrestlers, there's a lot of superstars. And it's kind of like, I'm not mad at it. It's still, I get the whole thing of like, it loses its value. It's not like, oh my gosh, you're wrestling for a top championship belt now. I mean, the heavyweight title will be the heavyweight title. That will always be top tier. And then you have those other ones that's, you can start building things around as you still continue to keep bringing wrestlers in. So I'm not mad at it. Like I said, it's more of like the boxing sense of just so many different titles. And they'll figure it out, I believe, just even kind of splitting the show up a little bit more, or whatever the plans is. Right now, I think they're just living in the moment, and they're creating all that they can to just keep us entertained, and it's all entertainment wrestling. That's all it is.
You are so right.
All
And
entertainment.
definitely all it. Now, it's all entertainment wrestling. I agree with that. But if you want to talk about something that is even more entertaining in AEW, you have to talk about probably the greatest promo that you will see this year. And that is the MJF pipe bomb. That promo was deadly. It was deadly.
Top
He
5.
attacked
Snipe from
everybody.
the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Sniping from the roof.
And he spoke badly. He spoke about All Friends Wrestling. Because he said it was an organization created by friends.
Yeah.
And being in indie wrestling, I've seen that before. I've seen friends take over an organization and destroy it. Shout out to Fort Valley. But that's just
Pew, pew, pew,
yeah,
pew.
that's what happens. And but yeah, that's MJF pulled absolutely no punches when he spoke about CM Punk, the friends, the opportunities, but his most savage comments were for Tony Khan.
Yes.
Neff, what do you make of this promo?
Hey, man, definitely top 5 for me. Anybody that can rock the mic and hold the crowd and just let it all out and go, golden. Golden. I was upset, though. Unfortunately, they put it right after CM Punk's match, and I felt, okay, I would have kind of put that mid-show, kind of close to last kind of thing. Like, he got to the arena late, like maybe even showed him pulling up to the arena like, look, I just got here just to go straight to the ring and drop this on you. I just got here. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like it right after CM Punk, but after he delivered, I said, I don't even care anymore. That was the coldest I've ever seen somebody do it in a good while. I missed that. Even the whole WWE shot, like you want to bring in all these locker room full of WWE stars. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Yes. Golden, man. Like, he sold it for me. So yeah.
Man, that was the fact that he actually did a promo and actually said WWE.
Yeah.
It was enough for me. I was like, wow. Like it was just like, because most times people do it and it's scripted and they have a dramatic pause. Would you have had this money for me if I was a WWE wrestler? No, he just went in. He went all the way in and he just destroyed anybody. That was his ether. That was his I shot you. That was his hit him up. That was crazy. It was bananas, man. I'm like, wow. And they've taken him off of all of the shows. They taken him, they removed his merchandise and everything. And everybody's giving me this talk about, oh man, it's a shoot, it's a work. I don't care. I liked it. I don't care what it is. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Exactly, man. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take our first break. But when we come back, we are going to talk about WWE Hell in a Cell and all of the ramifications that came from it. Stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Planet Velvet Podcast.
I mean, this is not the MySpace age, Dad. We need to use social media to our advantage.
She's still missing.
Well, then you should know I'm gonna stop at absolutely nothing until I find mine.
Oh, should I wait with you? You know, it gets pretty dangerous out here this time of night.
Why can't her mother watch her? Hell, why can't she watch herself? She's a teenager.
Good choice of words.
Excuse me? You're right. Who wants a case of the bitch?
Excuse me?
Hey, baby.
I found his address.
So you all been thinking about this for a while, huh?
You gonna act like you don't hear me? Oh, I got something for that. Freeze!
You are my life.
Yeah, well, you have a funny way of showing it.
Hey, Captain.
Charles Reedon, computer specialist. I think you guys have him labeled as the Grant Park killer.
The war is just beginning. And the bad part about it, they won't even see it coming. What's your fixation?
Okay. Well, I'm sitting here like, what we doing?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. For
I
everybody
see
who
you.
does not know, that is the movie Fixation 2 Uprising, produced and directed and written by Bobby and Renee Peebles, starring quite a vast, wonderful cast of people. Too
Nice.
many to name right now, but this face happens to be in it quite a bit. So
That's right.
yeah, man, just doing my thing, man. Just trying to make good things happen. So
Well, congrats on all the success. I see you got another role. Congrats to
yeah,
you on that one. Got some more coming out.
absolutely. Thank you, man. Yes, 480 in the building. Definitely say that. No doubt. So let's get into Hell in a Cell. As we know, we heard about Cody Rhodes having a very, very bad injury prior to Hell in a Cell. We did not know if it was a shoot. We didn't know if it was a work, but we knew what happened when we saw Cody and he came into the ring in Hell in a Cell to face Seth Rollins. He walked in and his pec and arm were discolored. He had a pec tear, totally tore his pec off the bone. Went through the match with Seth Rollins. And it was probably one of the gutsiest performances I have ever seen in professional wrestling since I've ever been watching wrestling. It was definitely a gutsy performance, and he wound up winning the match. I think the adrenaline helped him forget he was hurt for a little while. But here's the crazy thing, and this is the thing I couldn't get over. I don't know if anybody knows this. Cody was really bloody, right in his pec and in his arm. But the strange thing is, it got so bad that the wound or the mark started like changing color in certain spots. Like it got a brighter red in certain spots, and you can tell he was really, really genuinely hurt. And I'm like, oh my God, how is he doing this? You know, like we just got finished talking about a world champion who had a broken foot and is deciding, you know what, I'm not gonna wrestle. And now we got a guy here who has a torn pec and goes through an entire main event of a major pay-per-view. That's incredible.
a cell.
In a cell against one of the best wrestlers in the game right now, against one of the most accomplished wrestlers in WWE history. And he went in there and put on a match and won the match. You know, got attacked the next night, went in for surgery, and the surgery was successful, according to his wife, Brandy. And so now we're wondering about his future as it relates to their upcoming pay-per-view, Money in the Bank. So, Neff, now that we've heard all this about Cody, first, what are your opinions on his performance, and what do you think about his future, his immediate future? When I say immediate, I'm talking about in the next month, because that's when Hell in a Cell is.
Well, I said, oh, you mean Money in the Bank? Money in the Bank.
Yeah, Money in the Bank. I'm sorry.
When I say that I've never in the years of being a fan of wrestling feel such a hush over a crowd. Like after the whole, you know, Cody enters the ring, he does this whole thing. When he takes that robe off, just the chill and the tense and just how quiet the audience went after realizing, oh, okay, this might be real. You know, everybody saw the reports, the announcers were reporting it, everything. So very gutsy. I take my hat off to Cody. I mean, that's a torn pec, man. Like, you know, we can get the whole Kurt Angle, I wrestle with a freaking broken neck and all this stuff, and you know, all the you know, Triple H and his injuries in the ring, and just, you know, continue through and go through. Like, you started it from start to finish with your pec torn off the bone. So shout outs to Cody. It was a hell of a performance. I don't necessarily I love the fact that he won. I thought they were gonna go in another direction. But to take the abuse he took, it was phenomenal. As far as his return, that's tough. It's very tricky. Because as much as he tried to, you know, gas us up and say, you know, I'll be back for Money in the Bank, that was the goal, that was the target. There's no way in hell you're going to be back in time for Money in the Bank. And even if you do, if you somehow pull off this suitcase, no. So we're looking more. I can see a return more at Royal Rumble. That might be more ideal. And I think that might be a better situation for him because, of course, they'll bring him in at number 30 and he'll win the whole thing and we'll move the hell on. Yeah, very tough break because they had a lot lined up for him. I was telling another partner that, hey, I think Cody will be the next one up after Roman transitions into his own thing, just because everybody's behind him now. And with this whole match he had, he's going to have our back. We're going to have his back no matter when he returns. But as far as immediate future in the next month or so, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
I got you. I hear exactly what you're saying. George was always also commenting on the whole Cody thing, and his response is, I don't see him competing in Money in the Bank because it's lost its prestige over the years. Though it'll make for a good story if he's in it, but I see him coming back for SummerSlam more so for Money in the Bank.
SummerSlam is tough too. That's why I said Royal Rumble will probably be more ideal.
If it was as simple as him just it being reattached and healing, of course you could say, yeah, he'd come back. But we're talking about rehab. We're talking about rehab. We're talking about a muscle torn completely off the bone.
Yeah.
And for that reason alone, I think it's kind of hard to just really say he'd come back at SummerSlam. That's wishful thinking. And if he did, it would be incredible.
You can't lift.
Yeah.
And what we're talking about his right. So I'm pretty sure, you know what I'm saying? So all that you can't lift. The rehab for that is going to take some time.
Absolutely. If you know anything about wrestling, because you're right. You're saying as somebody who has never even wrestled a match, you know you're knowledgeable about that alone because you know people when they go for body slams, it's done with the right hand. Typically, it's done with the right hand. Throughout my career, I'm ambidextrous, so I can use both hands. And I sometimes prefer my left. But typically, when you're trained to wrestle, you're trained to execute a body slam, lifting somebody with your right hand. So once again, he can't even lift anybody. And more often than not, that's probably his dominant hand, like it is most people. So it's not even about just lifting people. It's about throwing a punch. It's about throwing a clothesline. It's about throwing a back elbow. It's about being able to push yourself up once you've hit the mat and get up. There's a lot that goes into using what I would assume is the dominant side of his body, especially in professional wrestling. So that alone makes me think that him coming back at SummerSlam is really wishful thinking. He can come back and show his face, but competing, I don't see it happening.
Yep. Tough break.
Yeah, I just don't see it happening. It's a really tough break because the strangest things have happened when people have been fired, put in positions where they can't advance and all that kind of stuff. If it wasn't for Triple H doing the whole curtain call thing, we'd have never had Austin 316. So where as Paul Heyman is so adept at saying where there's chaos, there's opportunity. Right. So this may be an opportunity for somebody to step up instead of WWE just putting placeholders in place for the next 3 months as to who's going to challenge Roman Reigns for the championship. Whether or not they're going to have anybody who's going to be able to do that, I'm going to take a break. And when I get back, when we get back, Neff is going to take the floor and we're going to expound a little more into that entire situation as far as WWE's future and who is going to play a major role in it. All right. Stay tuned. You do not want to miss this. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Planet Velvet Pro. Yes, you know what? The glass is about to break when we come back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Planet Velvet Pro Wrestling Podcast. Stay tuned.
When you see your wife, how does she make you feel?
She's peaceful.
You
Log on to StallionSquad.com today and use discount code VELVET10 to get yourself some great savings on premium fitness gear, no matter what your fitness level may be. Stallion Squad, squad up. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Yo. So for those who do not know, when somebody has an opportunity to say something in professional wrestling or about professional wrestling, it is called a shoot. And Neff has a full clip. So Neff, I'm going to give you the floor because we want to speak, or we're going to allow you to speak on WWE's options moving forward.
I've had a week to sit with this, and I'm gonna try to compose myself as professionally as possible. But but it's been just a lot going on, and I was having a discussion with my other partner, and it was funny. It was right before the whole Cody Rhodes thing and all that stuff, and we were talking about what is the direction with WWE. We're running out of superstars. Storylines all over the place. Things are going on that just can't be explained. So he was like, well, what's the next move? Like, you know, they put Roman Reigns on such a God mode, okay? Such a God mode that no loss anytime soon will make sense. It just wouldn't. There's nobody, no name that you can pull out and say, hey, if Roman Reigns loses to this person, then you know, that makes sense. It doesn't, because we've made him and put him in a position of such a God mode that no loss for Roman will make sense. So I said, look, before you know it, I said right now the only option they have is they're going to have to call Cena. Cena is the only workhorse in this business that will come running if Vince McMahon calls him. And what did they do? The very first week that I said this was going to happen, all of a sudden we start seeing promo for the 20th year anniversary of John Cena. I said, are we here already? That should make you worry. That should make you say to yourself, okay, we don't have any other options. I know Taker's on the horizon. They've already kind of gaslit that at his Hall of Fame speech. Never say never. Come on. We know you're going to give us at least one more before it's all said and done. You can be 65 years old. You're going to give us at least one more before it's all said and done, because that's just Undertaker. Vince McMahon got him wrapped around his finger. If Vince McMahon said, I need you, he'll do it. So, with that being said, Cena is returning. Is he returning for one promo? I think not. Cena will come back. He will do his whole little, you know, hustle, loyalty, respect, all this stuff. Thank you for the 20 years. And it's just going to be a build-up for maybe SummerSlam, maybe one of those main events. Cena's going to give us another match. He's probably dropped whatever corny movie he's working on right now. And that's just going to be that. And it sucks. It sucks that we are at that point that we got to call John Cena, because we all know Rock is not going to come back before WrestleMania. Rock said, I'll give you one, but that one is going to be WrestleMania. So John Cena is on the dock to give us one more run as John Cena. Tragic. It's been all week. I've held that in. And yeah, that's that. I'm over it. I'm over it. There's no one else to call. We're at the age right now where all of our heroes, everyone that they would have called maybe 2-3 years ago, it would have worked. But at this point, I mean, you've already had Austin come back, and that was a miracle within itself. Other than that, when we're talking about other legends and other people that can just bring so much more awareness and just bring so much more entertainment, those names are now put aside. We have no back history. All we have is the history that we're creating now. And unless they can just, you know, take some of the 200 wrestlers AEW has, I just don't see where we go from here. So WWE's in trouble. Brock, where you at, Brock? Bring, where you at? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? That's all I got. What are we doing?
That's so true. Neff, my boy Fella G says you are on point. You are on point with your assessment. And I couldn't agree with you more, man. I'm just trying to figure out what's going to happen with the future of WWE. It's gotten to there was a point where things were just predictable. Okay, we're hearing about things. You know, you got the Meltzers and everybody up disrupting the storylines and all that kind of stuff. That happens. I think now, and you're right. You're right. I think part of the reason that is because now, if you look at AEW, you got a lot of guys above average ability, but most of them are average size. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
There's nobody in AEW that you would not be able to mistake for a person sitting next to you at a show. But that is the direction that a lot of wrestling is heading in. You know, WWE has always had a larger than life product. And I think that's probably why we're getting a lot more body guys who are getting more screen time. So that's why we have the Ezekiels, and that's why we have the Riddick Mosses and stuff like that, because Vince McMahon is going back to the Ezekiel. He's Ezekiel. He's not. He's Ezekiel. His name is Ezekiel. But the fact of the matter is, I think that he's just, at this point, he's going back to that larger than life thing, because ultimately, you got to think about it. The WWE fans of the day were kids of yesterday. And they like those guys who were larger than life. So even when we start talking about the Undertakers or the Vaders or guys who just, you know, you had to look up to, not some guy you could look at and be like, damn, you wrestle taller than you are.
At the gas station. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. So now it's just, I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. But you know what? I'm glad that we are doing that right there, because now it segues to me wanting to shoot my mouth off about a situation. So here's the situation I want to talk about. As you know, recently WWE crowned a brand new Intercontinental Champion in Gunther, who is the former Walter. Excuse me. So now, once again, this goes back to guys who are of pretty large size, because Gunther was a big dude. Even though he's recently just lost weight, he still is a above average guy. So now he's the Intercontinental Champion. Crazy thing is this: Ricochet, an amazing athlete, has done all kinds of stuff in Japan, was wrestling with Lucha Underground as Prince Puma, came to WWE at NXT, briefly held the NXT North American Championship, moved up to the main roster, briefly held the United States Championship, briefly and forgettably held one of the most recognizable championships in the history of this business, which is the Intercontinental title. His title reign didn't mean anything. There's no way a man that talented should hold one of the most prestigious titles in the history of this business, and it don't mean nothing to anybody. That's a shame. Now, as far as I'm going with Ricochet, there's no way he should have ever been brought to the main roster. And the main reason is they don't know what to do with him. There's several guys who have succeeded and excelled at NXT, and I can go through a laundry list of them that have made main roster debuts and have wasted their time from the minute they stepped through the curtain on the main roster. The Ascension is probably the greatest example of that. And there's so many people after that. But when you look at the whole kit and caboodle of it all, Ricochet had no business leaving NXT. Ricochet and the brand of wrestling that NXT brings you is the kind of brand that keeps him there and helps you build that up. Because see, the water got murky with NXT. They got so much stuff going on. They had such great things, and it was to a point where they went from a developmental brand to a brand that people were actually trying to equate with Raw and SmackDown. So now you don't know if they're a developmental brand or if they're just a black and yellow brand that's the same thing as Raw and SmackDown. But either way, you still had these lighter wrestlers who were doing the spotty kind of wrestling, you know, and God bless them. I don't knock them for that, but that's the brand of wrestling that they were doing there. Main roster wrestling is larger than life wrestling. So that's why, like I said, you have the Riddick Mosses. That's why you have the Ezekiels. That's why you should probably bring back Brock Lesnar. Ezekiel. He's the ultimate Ezekiel. That's who he is. But that's why you have those guys there. And the fact that Ricochet was even brought to the main roster is a shame. It's a crying shame, and it makes absolutely no sense. But Ricochet is just, I'm thinking that he's a guy who basically just loves the WWE lifestyle, because in terms of career trajectory, he's bumping his head on the glass
I
ceiling.
told you
Man.
what it was, though. I told you on the earlier phone call when we talked about this. I told you exactly what it was. Ricochet is awesome. He's above ring performer. He's
Yeah.
a high flyer. I love high flyers. Always have been. I'm cruiserweight at heart. In my mind, I can do a 450 splash right now to this day, knowing damn well I can't do none of that. But listen, he
Actually, the
can't
flying
cut a
elbow
promo.
drop is pretty good.
Oh yeah, you can catch one. I might need some ice out after, but you can catch one. But Ricochet's biggest problem is he can't cut a promo. He just can't do it. He's entertaining in the ring, but personality wise, he just don't cut it.
The bad part about it is the guy has the kind of talent where he shouldn't have to cut a promo. He shouldn't have to say anything. And even though that's what you got to do on the main roster to sell a match, you can cut a promo.
It's more of a presence. It's more of a presence thing. Like he can't build a match. I'm not gonna get excited about seeing him in a match or compete because it's legit.
Not on the main roster, no.
It's I've seen your promos backstage, and I'd rather watch a commercial. Sorry, but Ricochet is awesome. I think his best chance he had is when Aleister Black was with WWE and they had the perfect little tag team that would have just took off. But he's more of a tag team performer. Put him with a good tag team partner. Turn him heel. Hell, if he goes heel, we might see something from Ricochet that could blow our mind. But right now, as a face, I don't want to see
You know what? I never fathomed Ricochet going heel, but I'm just imagining. Can you imagine the heat he would get? Can you imagine the heat he would get? Not from the boys in the back, because if it's money, they're gonna love it. But can you imagine the fans just taking a dump on him every time he comes somewhere, and with all that ability, just turn his back on them and just you can't deny what he's able to do in the ring.
He needs the right angle. He needs the right angle. He needs a target to shoot at. And you turn him heel, he might be something special. It's always those ones that don't work well as a face because it's just they love doing it. They love the business. They love to do the smile. They love to shake hands with the kids and do all that stuff. But deep down inside, they want to say fuck it. And I need those that just want to say fuck it.
I've done that, and saying that is actually pretty fun. I'm tell you what, my heel runs in wrestling have been great. I have loved being a heel. I will wrestle as a face when I'm closer to home, but let me go somewhere else. I will wrestle as a heel and love every freaking minute of it. I'm serious. George gave us another comment right now. Ricochet would be better as a heel. Damn, Neff read my mind. I would love to see him and Cedric Alexander as a tag team. You know what?
Nice.
That would be so good. And with Cedric now, and I hate to say this because I know Cedric, because he's a cool guy, great guy to talk to. If we're sitting down having a conversation, great guy to talk to. But when he gets excited during a promo, his voice goes from here to there. I mean, he has the highest voice for a grown-ass man I have ever heard in my life. I'm serious. And Ced's a cool dude, but he's a guy who does not need to cut a promo, or it needs to be a very calm promo with very few words, because Cedric has a high voice out this world. He's crazy. But him and Ricochet together as a tag team, oh man.
I think maybe WWE felt that as well. You know what I'm saying? That's why they say, you know what, the Intercontinental Championship, let's go ahead and just take it away from you and just give you another target to shoot at. And I mean, they've been dancing around this Attitude Era kind of thing, but you're losing wrestlers here, you're losing wrestlers there, so it's kind of like you're still trying to get there in a way because you got the Judgment Day, which will segue into that. But it's take the title away from him. Let's Let's turn them a different direction and see what happens.
Absolutely. George once again says that the best thing that was the best thing that happened to Bailey.
Oh
So
yeah,
be perfect for
sure.
Ricochet. And that's true. That's true. Bailey
Sure.
went heel, got the haircut, all that kind of stuff, was the role model. You name it, she did it, and I totally agree with that.
Say that saved Bailey. That gave her that extended her time because
It really did.
If I saw the damn inflatable things one more damn time, oh my god,
that gave her life. That gave her life because it got to a point where she was getting cheesy. But yeah, she came back. When she just started tearing. When she took an axe to those inflatable buddies. Oh yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. Oh man, yo, we are going to take another break, ladies and gentlemen. When we get back, we will talk about the Judgment Day. All right, stay tuned. It's the Planet Velvet Pro Wrestling Podcast.
I mean, this is not the MySpace age, Dad. We need to use social media to our advantage.
She's still missing.
Well, then you should know I'm gonna stop at absolutely nothing until I find mine.
Oh, should I wait with you? You know, it gets pretty dangerous out here this time of night.
Why can't her mother watch her? Hell, why can't she watch herself? She's a teenager.
Good choice of words.
Excuse me?
You're right. Who wants a case of the bitch?
Excuse me?
Hey, baby.
I found his address.
So y'all been thinking about this for a while, huh?
You gonna act like you don't hear me? Oh, I got something for that. Freeze!
You are my life.
Yeah, well, you have a funny way of showing it.
Hey, Captain!
Charles Reedon, computer specialist. Think you guys have him labeled as the Grant Park killer.
The war is just beginning. And the bad part about it, they won't even see it coming. What's your fixation?
So, the Judgment Day. Very interesting turn of events with the Judgment Day. For so long, everybody had been asking, who's going to be the fourth member of the Judgment Day? And floating around as the most popular name was Tommaso Ciampa. Another person who probably shouldn't have left NXT. Along with Butch, along with Keith Lee, along with Karrion Kross. But anyway, getting back to what we were talking about, we were wondering who was going to join the Judgment Day. So an announcement was made. Edge said that there will be a new member of the Judgment Day. And who was it going to be? It turned out to be Finn Balor. And everybody thought it was a joke. And they were like, man, what is Finn Balor doing here? Okay, he's going to go in the ring. He's going to do a little talking. And then he's going to pull a DDP on NWO and switch sides and stay where he was and turn on him. Little did we know what was going to happen. It was probably the ultimate swerve that we've seen in a long time. So Balor gets into the ring. Damian Priest claims that the Judgment Day is as powerful as it needs to be, and they need to discard dead weight. And that dead weight was the founder of the Judgment Day, Edge. And so Balor, Rhea Ripley, and Damian Priest kicked him out of the Judgment Day and proceeded to beat the crap out of Edge, ultimately ending with the crucifix bomb through the commentary table. Did not see this coming. Honestly, didn't. I did not know. Right now, I don't know what the deal is or what's going to happen with Edge. But here's a crazy thing. Here's a funny rumor that's been floating around. You guys remember Big Cass? Enzo and Big Cass? Yeah. There's a rumor floating around.
I saw that.
Big Cass, who is now known as William or W.H. Morrissey, will be returning to WWE in the near future as Edge's brother. And do you know what his proposed name is going to be?
Edge's brother?
No, Ledge.
Why?
Edge with an L at the beginning. Ledge. Ledge.
As in what they need to jump off of if they do this.
Well, they got so many other reasons to jump off a ledge. I'm serious. So, Neff, what do you think of this entire situation, man?
When it happened, I was caught off guard with it. I didn't think it was going to be Finn Balor. I think it was. Believe it or not, I like Finn Balor in this position. I mean, we all know that he has a whole nother side and a personality that is iconic in his own way when he decides to bring out the demon. I would have liked it better if he originally started Judgment Day. But because they didn't go that route and Finn Balor's in that position now, I like the Judgment Day. I do like it. As far as Edge, I already said that he wasn't going to go long. This whole thing was supposed to be a temporary. He come back, he set something up, and then they, ride this thing out. And then he'll ride off into the sunset again. He's putting a lot more miles on his body, but Edge is capable of doing it. And he's been a performer, and he's done what he needed to do. But to try to turn Edge not so much of a face and take him out of that heel kind of thing, it just kind of goes back to, again, they're out of options. They're out of things to really build around. So with Cody being out, let's see if we can make Edge. Let's take Edge out of the equation, try to give him another run at something. This whole Edge's brother thing, like, come on, let's please not work the Undertaker and Kane angle. Like, it's uncalled for, unnecessary. Where the hell is Bray Wyatt? I will say that every week until I know what's going on with him. I would have loved to see him in this whole Judgment Day equation thing, and maybe with Edge that could even work too. But we're at a point right now where they're running out of stuff. Edge is gonna try to have a face run, and Butch Cassidy. Is it Butch Cassidy or is it just Cass? What was his name?
It's just Cass.
Okay, what, 7 years removed?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I do not know how long it's been, but it's been a while. It's been a while.
But when he was there, let's not forget, he was. I really liked him. I liked the whole faction with him and Enzo. That was my man. You know what I'm saying? Right. Rock the mic. I love people that can rock the mic, and he was one of the best at it. He's a great performer too, and people will have to go back and kind of watch his matches to see that he had a lot of potential, and then he just kind of fell off the face of the earth. But this brother angle, I just don't want to see a brother angle. Just if you're gonna bring him back. But let's not do the Taker and Kane. Oh my God, this.
Yeah, and here's an interesting take, and this is something I definitely wanted to show this because got my buddy here. Mattoon is here, and he's talking about the whole Judgment Day thing. He's saying Edge is turning babyface with the loss of Cody due to injuries.
Yeah,
you agree?
Yeah, this is exactly what I just said. It's they're running out of options, and they need more face. And you talking about a big body superstar on the level of Edge. You would rather have him as a face. Finn Balor definitely didn't have anything else going on. I mean, him and AJ Styles, that was nice, but look how fast he just disappeared off of this whole tag team thing. And I just like Finn Balor in a Judgment Day position. It looks better. It looks better. Let Edge go face and run amok.
Absolutely. Rodney or Rod has the same assessment as Mattoon does, saying that Edge going face because of the Cody injury. So hey, everybody can agree that's the way to go. Yes, ROD, man. You know what? I wish I had a bag of gummy bears right now. Just saying. I wish I had some gummy bears and a talking dog. Like seriously, I need that in my life right now.
Matter of fact, I have one. Yeah.
I need that in my life right now. That's crazy, man.
And that's just how unfortunate it is. That's the reality of it. Is that everybody knows, like, you have to turn Edge face, all because of one person going down.
Well, let me ask you this. We talk about pretty much okay. So, Edge is turning face because of the Cody injury. I get that, right? That is a good thing because WWE has the resources to plug people in. Right. Whether or not they're going to be able to get as much mileage out of those people is anybody's guess. But, God forbid, do you think that catastrophic injuries or layoffs or something like that could actually benefit AEW's roster, considering that it's getting crowded and you got a bunch of people that don't have a damn clue what to do around there?
What do you mean, as far as WWE kind of grabbing some of their superstars back?
Well, I mean, I don't even think WWE will, because according to them, they're trying to make budget cuts and all that kind of stuff. The only time they would actually probably call somebody back is I guess like they tried to do the Iconics when they had the Women's Royal Rumble and they didn't have as many numbers as they needed. And they tried to call them back after they after they released them and all that, and Iconics were like no. But I'm just saying, do you think that thinning out AEW's roster would actually help them out a bit? Because right now it just looks a little murky.
I even hate to say it, but I will go on record with it. Is it a possibility that this could ever happen? Who knows? But anything is possible. I mean, we didn't think it was possible when the WCW thing happened. There could come a day where they could merge this situation. They can blend it in a way where, we've already taken shots at you. WWE has stayed far away from trying to take shots at AEW just to not give them as much credit or put more light on them, like we give a shit about what y'all doing over there. But it could possibly get there because they're just running out of options. And like I said, the days of old school bringing anybody back is just not there anymore. We don't buy it anymore. It's that product for the brand is just not going to work again. So AEW trying to thin out their roster is a possibility, but we all know how greedy they are, and they're showing their colors with that. They're saying we're going to keep everybody we have. I don't give a shit if we got to have 3 10-man tag matches in one night, a 72 match card that we'll shoot from 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. We'll do what we got to do to make it work. Not to mention
the 43 match dark taping that just happened.
Come on, 43 match card.
Yeah, man.
Bruh. Y'all giving people shots in the crowd? Like, it's no way nobody sat there and watched 43 matches. What are we talking? 5-minute matches?
Man, fans are doing shifts. Fans are doing shifts for real. Like,
swapping out.
Gotta be, man. It gotta be. It's crazy. That's bananas, man. Mattoon asked me this question. Anthony Velvet Hall, will the Judgment Day be a threat to the Usos Tag Team Championship? That is a very real possibility, because I don't see Damian Priest actually doing a whole lot of singles championship running anytime soon. Finn Balor, I don't see him. He's basically won he's won quite a few. He's won the more important single championships in WWE. Right now, I think with Judgment Day, with the change, they definitely want to do something that shows solidarity. So as far as being a threat, I could see them challenging. Whether they'd actually win it, I do not know, because honestly, this takes me back to the days when you had the New Age Outlaws wearing the tag team championships, and The Rock and D'Lo Brown were challenged for the tag team titles. They never won it, but it showed solidarity in the nation back in the day. So with Judgment Day just really having that big change and them just trying to show that they are a group to be reckoned with, I think that'll really strengthen the idea of solidarity in a lot of people's minds. So yeah, I could see them challenging for the championship. I don't see it being a feud. I could see it being something that happens on Raw, on an episode of Raw once or twice. But as far as it being something that's lengthy and drawn out, I don't see a series of matches happening in that. Nefty, what do you think about that?
And we know that these Usos run is gonna run as long as Roman runs. So until Roman loses his, Usos will have theirs. So as far as feuding or being any threat, it'll be entertaining. We'll see what Judgment Day wants to do, as far as, are they just gonna go back and forth with Edge for the next 2 months, 3 months, or are they gonna really try to make a push for a championship, and build off of that? But I mean, we saw how quickly it went from Randy Orton and Riddle to Riddle and Shinsuke. You know what I'm saying? Like it had to go. They had to immediately shift into that as far as like the tag team threat. So clearly, we still don't have other tag teams that could be on that level of all right. Let's put them against Usos. So we'll see. But as far as a threat, nah.
I'm glad you brought up Shinsuke. What's his future look like?
Shinsuke will be Shinsuke.
and that could mean anything, but
No,
I'm just saying.
No title run, no like entertainment. Shinsuke will be Shinsuke. He only works well with tag team.
Do you think that Shinsuke has reached his achievement ceiling in WWE?
Yeah, they gave him a run. He's had it, and he's won what? The Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank. He's won Money in the Bank as well, right? So yeah, I entertaining. Shinsuke's top dog, but I don't see where else he can go.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I always tell people about this. It's easy to sit up here and go, well, why doesn't somebody, this person has all this ability and why aren't they, the champion and all that kind of stuff? You got to realize WWE is a public company and they got to answer the shareholders. And so the person who's the champion is the face of that company in more than one way, Right. And so, I mean, that's why you have the John Cena's and the Hulk Hogan's of the day and the Bret Harts. And well, I mean, when Bret Hart was champion, business wasn't really all that good, because I mean, I think Bret cuts a worse promo than Ricochet.
He was
great
dull
wrestler.
as hell.
Yeah, he was the worst promo, man. He was dull as dishwater. He was the worst promo, cutting it, talented. Bret was anal. That's who he was. He was just if there's any one person who took wrestling too seriously, it was Bret Hart.
Oh yeah.
Too serious, way too seriously. But he couldn't get back to it. But getting back to the point I'm trying to make, that's why it was good for WWE to have multiple world championships back in the day, because you had, when Kofi Kingston was champion, you had Seth Rollins as the Universal Champion, so you had a clear divide as to who was rooting for who, and so that always was really good for them to do. But now that you have a merged championship, you really don't have that divide. And Roman's, he's come a long way. He's fine. He's come a long way and is about to cross over into some other stuff. To the point where you can really look at him and be like, oh yeah, this dude's a wrestler. Roman is not Ricochet. Roman is not the little guy that can do flips. Roman is the guy who has the movie star looks and to knock your teeth out your face. So that actually works in his favor. So I just think I do agree with you in thinking that Shinsuke has pretty much done all he can in WWE. Neff, gotta ask you. We have heard about Paige leaving WWE. Your thoughts?
I didn't know she was still there.
Me either. Me either. Shoot me. But I will say, I mean, there was glimpses of her in and out. I think the Hall of Fame, different shows and stuff. You'll see her backstage. She worked really close with Triple H, of course. And I think that she had a say in a lot of the direction as far as the women's division. It just, I mean, after her injury and she knew that she wouldn't be able to wrestle again, and she's still hinting around the fact that she could possibly come back and give one more. I mean, look at Edge. I mean, it was over for Edge, and look at him now. So there is a possibility. I will always say that the thing that just knocked her off her rocker was the whole, was her getting knocked off her rocker. Right. Yeah. That's exactly what it was.
From that moment on,
she got knocked and rocked. That's exactly what happened.
From that moment on, Paige faded. She just faded. So, and it's very unfortunate because she definitely was the staple to the women's division and leading it and pushing it to where it is now. So I know she had her hands in that. And maybe she just want to, step away. And I mean, even with Stephanie could have played a part in that too, where she just felt like, Stephanie's not here anymore. maybe I should step away too, just kind of focus on herself. So look, I ain't never mad at anybody that want to step away from something. If they're not bashing it, saying that it was a toxic environment or, unhealthy for her mentally, or, if it's not stuff coming out like that, then I'm not mad at somebody saying I need to step away for a while. And travels and all that stuff can get to a person. So, hey, take your time, go do your thing. But honestly, I didn't know you were there.
Well, apparently, Rod thinks she's going to AEW. Your thoughts on that?
For what? What is she gonna do now? Now look, don't get me wrong. She could have been in the background at WWE saying, "Hey, I want to wrestle again," and they could have told her no, because maybe they were still hanging on to the, So maybe there's a possibility, but at the end of the day, AEW is too goddamn full. They don't need no more wrestlers. There's not enough time in the show. There's not enough promo you can cut. There's not enough. They don't even use social media as much as they should. It's
if they need another show, all they got to do is go to YouTube and create another one. You got AEW Dark, you got AEW Dark Evolution, you got AEW Dark Roast, you got AEW Dark as Hell, you got AEW The Dark Knight, you got all kind of AEW stuff going on.
It's too much. It's too much. Too much.
Way too much.
If she goes, she goes. I mean, it could be entertaining, but she not ready for that life. All entertainment wrestling is full of acrobats. And Paige has been out the ring. She's has a physical condition that could snap on her at any given second. I think it's just too much. It's too much, and I mean, it'll be cool, but at the end of the day, take your break, girl. Go home. Go home.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a big proponent of the modern day NWA, and as many of you may or may not know, they had a pay-per-view last night. So just quickly, I want to run down the results of those of that pay-per-view with the NWA. What just happened here? That was kind of crazy. It was like really big right there. I didn't want that to happen. Okay, we need that to scroll.
That was like breaking news the way you did that. I said you didn't do that all show. That's cool.
I know. Breaking news. We have AEW always ready results. So what we're gonna do? I'm gonna give you guys the results real quick because we killed about an hour of time and it's really cool, man. I thank you guys so much for joining us here. Just gonna run down the NWA always ready results from last night really quickly. NWA World Women's Champion Camille defeated Kylan King to retain her championship. NWA National Heavyweight Champion Jax Dane defeated Chris Adonis, who most of you may remember as Chris Masters in WWE, to retain his championship. The Commonwealth Connection, Doug Williams and Harry Smith, who is known as Davey Boy Smith Jr., defeated La Rebellion to win the NWA World Tag Team Championships. Tyrus defeated Mims to retain the NWA World Television Championship. Trevor Murdoch defeated Aaron Stevens. Afterwards, Aaron Stevens retired. He went all Jerchachik on us. Pretty Empowered, Ella Envy and Kenzie Page defeated the Hex, Allison Kay and Marty Bell to win the NWA World Tag Team Women's Tag Team Championship. Natalia Markova defeated Taya Valkyrie. Homicide defeated PJ Hawks to retain the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship and was immediately challenged by Colby Carino, who cashed in his championship series trophy and lost to Homicide. So Homicide had two successful title defenses in the same night. Tom Latimer, defeated Scion. And here's something crazy. We talk about champions being injured. Here's something. As many of you may know, oh my God. I just had a major brain fart right now. Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona was the reigning NWA World Heavyweight Champion going into this show. Unfortunately, he suffered a torn biceps and had surgery earlier this week. As a result, he was forced to vacate the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. there was a four-way match, a fatal four-way match that happened to determine a new champion, and Trevor Murdoch captured his second NWA World Heavyweight Championship, defeating Nick Aldis, Thomas Latimer, and returning Sam Shaw for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. For those of you who are not aware, the NWA airs a brand new episode of NWA Power on the Fight TV network every Tuesday, with a replay showing on YouTube every Friday, and a brand new episode of NWA USA premiering on YouTube every Saturday at noon. So that was a quick, fun rundown for all of you independent wrestling fans out there. Neff, tell everybody where on social media they can find you.
You can find me on Facebook, Jesse I am Neff Miller. That's Jesse I am Neff Miller, and Instagram 480MTNEF. That's where you can find me each and every as I said, like it was a show or something. You can find me there at any time.
Gotcha. And as always, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Snapchat at Velvet478. That is going to do it for this week's edition of the Planet Velvet podcast. I am Velvet. That is Neff, and we will see you guys here again next weekend, next Sunday at 4 p.m. for more of the craziness that happens in professional wrestling. Everybody, take care. See you soon.
Peace.